This is the second video in my, this is the second videos of my religion installment. And today I'm going to talk about, I'm going to go into deeper detail about some symbolism that we find before the Bronze Age. So it's going to be this kind of stuff, and this kind of stuff, which we did our timeline and we did our overview of all of this and kind of an introduction to this in the first videos. So here we are, and we're going to dive deeper. So some concepts that I'm going to talk about heavily are from this, well, they're not from this exclusively, but this is a good place to start. This author, she was a Harvard researcher, an anthropologist, and all-around amazing woman. These are only a few of her books. And what she talks about a lot is the symbolism that connects femininity to birds and snakes. So she talks a lot about the bird goddess and the snake goddess in reference to really this Paleolithic and Neolithic statues, little figurines that we find, okay? So here, for example, is an example of the bird goddess. So the bird goddess is always wearing a bird mask. Her face is pinched in sort of a beak, okay? And all over where these things are found all over the globe, and yet the representation seems to hold. No matter where you go in the globe, it's like some of these figurines are sort of made in the image of a bird face or mask, and also of a snake face or mask. They're the main two that she talks about in her analyzing of these cultural pieces. And there are, these continue. So the bird and snake in association with the female, the spiritual world representation of the processes of the world in a female symbolism relating to birds and snakes, and they all go together all the way from the Paleolithic all the way through here. Let's look at this, and you can see here in Egypt, Nebbit and Wadjet, okay, and one is the vulture and the other is the cobra. And as a matter of fact, the hieroglyphics in Egypt, when it was a cobra, the hieroglyphic, the word was goddess. And when it was a vulture, the word was mother. So again, here we see it all over the world, different cultures represented in different ways. Here we go through Egypt and it's represented again. Here is Ashra, and what she is holding in both of her, and she's holding in her hands the snake. Here we go over here to the New World. Here is Shiva and Krishna. Let me get that right. Oh, Shakti, sorry. And there's her snake. And this is Kotaku, the Aztec earth goddess. And there's her snake skirt. And here is Eggshell, the Mayan goddess, and there is her snake. Okay, and here is Akka, the Finland Mother Earth goddess, and there is her snake. Okay, so a lot of, this is Pachamama of Peru, and you see her snake hands. Okay, so a lot of female symbolism, religious female symbolism, going all the way back to the Paleolithic, connects women, snakes, birds. Why? Now, let's talk about that. here we go. This is in one of the first cities in the world. Okay, so this is from Katahuyuk. I think that's how you say it, I hope. Anyways, and this is in next to, this is close to Jericho. And the symbolism between this town and Jericho is very similar when we go back to the first, when they excavate and they go back the furthest to the first people that lived there. We see this symbolism all over the place. And what it is it is the vulture. Now back in these days, these people, when people would die, they would set the remains out, and the birds of prey would pick the flesh from the bones. This is seen as, again, part of this process of the earth. What happens when you die? They put you in the ground and they give you the little mother figurines. They cover you with red ore. This is to represent, they put you in the fetal position. This is to represent your rebirth. The ore is the blood. The mother goes with you so that you will be reborn. The earth is your mother. You go into the womb of the earth and you will be reborn by these processes that the earth continues, cycles, cycles, cycles. The bird of prey does the motherly job of taking the dead into her and then rebirthing them in joy and glory of rebirth. Okay? This is why the bird, one of the main reasons that the bird is connected to femininity all the way back, because of these carrion birds that were used and were fed and did this process that these people saw as a motherly job. It's a dirty job, right? But the one who can do it is seen as having a part in all of this connections and is revered. Okay? The snake, there's a lot of reasons that people have put forth that the snake is equated with femininity all the way back. One of the reasons, as you can see here, is because of the spiral. The spiral is a very ancient religious symbol that relates to the snake. It's the coiling and uncoiling. Again, you can see how this process of birth, growing, decaying, death, rebirth, okay? You can see how this process is a spiraling and then an unspiraling, okay? A spiraling and then unspiraling. Continuously, forever and ever, always has been, always will be. It's the cycles that this kind of spiral really represents. This is also, a lot of people will talk about how the feminine energy is a circle and how the masculine energy is a straight, okay? A straight linear energy. So that's one of the reasons that people have put forth to equate the snake with femininity, is the energy pattern of the spiral. Another reason is, if you look at the magnetic lines on the earth, they go around the equator in this kind of way. This is a very deep sort of natural understanding of energy patterns, invisible energy patterns in the earth that not only create avocados and create food for us, invisible patterns that create food, also creates air, water, invisible things create these things for us, and there are invisible systems always at play. So this is these people had a very deep connection with nature, and because of that, a deep understanding of invisible processes that we've sort of lost. So the snake is put forth that idea as why. Again, and together, the snake and the bird really represent, again, a lot of natural processes that are equated with this world that they equated with being feminine, the world as feminine. The snake also is a cyclical creature. It hibernates during the